through this beautiful impact you are making in the life of students across Nigeria. So well done, Esther. God bless you for this initiative that you are doing.
Amen. Thank you, Ma.
Once again, thank you everyone for having me. I will just please you just give me a minute. I'm trying to get a hang of Telegram and how to share screen. So just bear with me as I try to get things going here. Okay, looks like I can share screen. Perfect. Please can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, Ma, we can.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so just give me a second. I think I want to go on. Second. Okay, you can see clear. I'm trying to go on slideshow. You know what? Let me stop sharing and share again.
All right, Ma.
Stop sharing. Okay, it looks like I couldn't get it to do that, so I'll just share in regular screen. Let me try sharing again. I'm just trying to go back to the screen share. Okay, share screen. Perfect. Okay, so can you see my screen? Just to confirm.
Yes, clearly, Ma.
All right, thank you. Okay, so Esther, just to be clear, will people be able to go off mute, or they will need to just type? I want to be sure how I can get engagement. Do they need to only type, or
They can do both. If they want to speak, they can raise their hands, and then I would unmute their mic.
Okay, all right, thank you. That works. All right. Before we get started, I thought a good place to be to just introduce myself and just share a little bit about my own journey so far, and then we'll just get started. So I graduated from Lagos State University and I studied banking and finance. That was in 2011. Yeah, I graduated in 2011. Before then, I was in, as you can imagine, banking and finance. I usually tell people that when I was at the point I finished secondary school and all that, I had no idea. Like for me, writing JAM in 2005 was just for the sake of writing JAM, because it was almost like a standard back then that you hardly would get into school, like a government university, not private now, but a government university, without maybe hitting a very high cutoff mark or knowing somebody inside to get into school. So my parents were just like, okay, we'll just write JAM for the sake of writing JAM, like get used to it, see how it works. And then the following year, you go for JAM lesson, you will learn, learn all the rudiments to prepare you for JAM. So my sister filled the form. Like I had no clue what they even filled. They just know that they just filled something there, put any course there, and that was it. Fortunately, in 2005, my JAM score when it came out was 205. Yes, it was 205. And obviously, as you can imagine, 205 wouldn't have gotten me into any school in Lagos to start with. So really, it was a trial and error JAM. But as God will have it, that year was when post-UME was introduced. I don't know if they still do post-UME now, but that was the actual year it was introduced. And I chose, so UNILAG was my first choice. And then LASU was my second choice. And at that time, LASU post-UME requirement was that if you scored above 200 and selected LASU as either first or second choice, you could come take post-UME. And that was how I wrote the post-UME exam and I got into school. So I would say my 2005 going into school I wasn't exactly mentally prepared. It was supposed to be a trial and error year for me, but that happened to be when I gained admission and I got into school. So obviously, you can imagine, banking and finance wasn't a course I'd researched, so I knew anything about, no clue whatsoever. But I went in either way and, just tried to give it my best, because at that time as well, one of the hot things that was going on was for you to ever get a job, you had to come out with at least a first class or a 2-1. 2-2 was no option. So I just said I was going to do everything it took, like if I had to just cram my way through school to make sure I came out with good grade, even though I didn't understand half of what was going on. But I just, I had to just make this work. Fast forward to 2007, 2008, of as usual, ASU strike, and I was fortunate to get an opportunity to intern in a consulting firm called Profiliant Development Resources. Then they were at Ilupeju. And when I got there, like intern there, they conducted trainings to organizations, for organizations rather, in various aspects: customer service training, sales training, and leadership training, all kinds of things. Even though I was interning and I was like a program coordinator for those training, like so organizing, catering, make sure that when participants come to the training, they register, printing certificate. I was just purely doing administrative stuff. But I was intrigued by that field, so to speak. And I wondered what aspect of a career would enable me be able to train or be part of training people. And then that's when, for the very first time in my life, I heard of HR, human resources. So while I was doing my internship in then 2008, I was, of course, I had a computer to myself, and I was internet, so I could actually go online to learn more about HR. And I then realized that, as part of HR, there's something called learning and development, and that's where training would come into play. So when ASU strike was over and we returned back to school, I think I returned into 300 level or something, or 200 level, maybe 200 level second semester, I think. And then I was going back to school to be like, you know what, I didn't want to do banking and finance anymore. I have found a passion. I wanted to pursue this HR career, and I was going to go to the extent of it, full extent of it. And then I realized that there was another course of study that could have gotten me that knowledge of HR, which was called Industrial Relations and Personnel Management, IRPM. I don't know if universities still use that term now. I know some universities are starting using the full term HR, but I don't know if some universities have changed the name, but IRPM, and there was a department in my faculty that was dedicated to IRPM. I wanted to actually change to that department. And then a very good advisors and a lecturer told me that if you try this thing in LASU, you will have missing results and you will not graduate with your peers. So, and of course, you can imagine how, back then, of course, things were not as advanced as now. There was a lot of manual processes to things. I didn't want to risk not being able to graduate because of missing results. So I said, you know what, I'll just give banking and finance I'll just give it my best, see it through. And then when I got out of school, I already learned about CIPM. So I knew that, okay, maybe doing CIPM will get me into helping me to understand HR and help me actually get some, maybe get a job or whatever. If they know that, oh, I did banking and finance, but I have a certification in HR, I could still get a job in that light. So that's what I did. I gave it my best. I still came out with the 2-1. And even though at least top five of my graduated top five in my class, but of course I knew I wasn't going to do anything in banking and finance. So while all my peers were, looking to get their ways into writing GT Bank tests, GT Bank was one of the highest paying at the time. The graduate trainees, it was almost like, but I just knew I didn't want to start my career doing banking. I had done an internship actually with GT Bank, a vacation job, and I was on a teller. I was a teller, and I did not enjoy it. I was like, no, this can never be my life. So I knew I wasn't going to do anything banking related, except I was going to work in HR. So fast forward to my NYC year, I was fortunate to get posted to. I got 2 posts actually. One to DSTV, multi-choice, and multi-choice was going to give me a customer care role. Again, I didn't want to do anything in HR. And I got posted to another, so I asked to be rejected. And I got posted to another company called Telnet Nigeria Limited. It's an IT company. And they asked where I wanted to be. And I said, can I work in your HR department? And that's how my journey in HR started in 2012. And honestly, since then, I have, of course, I won't want to bore us through all of that. I just wanted to give you a bit of my background and how things have evolved for me and how I got myself in this space called HR and how I've continued to grow in that career. So I'll say my HR career, I'll say, after school really started in 2012. And honestly, I've had no regrets since that time. I've worked across the entire aspect of HR. And right now I'm specializing in performance management, but I've actually done the whole works, And I think right now, me specializing and having that generalist knowledge, it's been it's a great decision, and I'm really happy where I am now. So I will pause now. I've spoken a lot. I would like to hear from you. To kick things off, Esther told me to talk about something called a topic called building a sustainable career as a student. And I would like this to be as interactive as possible. And I'll try to just put a very, very few slides together because I want really to be able to answer your questions that you have. But I feel that's really where the reach of this session will come to play. So before we get started, let me go to my next slide. Just 1 second. Okay, why can't I move to the next slide? This is interesting. Give me 1 minute, please. Not sure why it's not advancing to the next slide. Okay, hopefully it's advanced now. Yes, it has. So before I want to pause now, and I really want to hear from you. Can anybody tell me what does a sustainable career mean to you? Whether by typing or I actually prefer to if I can hear as many people's voices as possible. What does a sustainable career mean to you? Anyone? There are no right or wrong answers, by the way. It's really what it means to you. So, anybody? Esther, please help me. People are typing. Maybe you can help me read the responses because I can't see that screen at the moment. So if there are people typing, you can help me read the responses as well if people are typing.
All right, ma. Okay, Moses is saying a career that stands strong even when faced with vices.
Okay, thank you, Moses.
Official Ade is saying a career that one can handle even in hard times. So if you want to speak, you can tap on the mic. I would unmute your mic so you can speak. All right. So if you'd like to speak so we can hear your beautiful voice, do well to tap on the mic rather. Okay. Maria Faustina is saying career that will last you for a lifetime.
Okay.
And Trevor is saying I would say a sustainable career is a career that aligns with your values, passion, and long-term goals.
I love that. I love that. Amazing. I love that response. Really, that aligns and I love it because it syncs with what we're going to be discussing next. Okay, let's have one more person and then I'll proceed. One more person? Anyone?
All right. Adiola, if you want to speak, you're unmuted. But from the chat here, Bridget is saying a successful career is a career that is aligned with your God-given purpose. And more are coming in. I don't know if you want me to read on.
Okay, more are coming in. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have Adiola speak. I think you said Adiola wanted to speak, and then we can have one more chat. Comment from the chat.
Okay. Adiola, you have the floor if you want to say something.
Okay, good evening, ma.
Good evening, Adiola.
Is a career that is like what someone really wanted to do in life and is able to get it and start working on it, not just finding a job. It's someone's passion that someone can continue to work on, even when someone is tired or when it's not convenient.
Thank you so much, Adiola. I love that. I love that. Thank you very much. Okay, Esther, let's have one more comment in the chat and then I'll proceed.
Okay, another one says that Emanuela is saying one that allows flexibility and work-life balance, so you avoid burnout and climb up the ladder even when motivation wanes.
Thank you. And everyone, you've said the right thing, all very correct. And I'm glad that, I've gotten a range of responses, one that aligns to your values, one that aligns to your God-given purpose, one that aligns such that when you are doing it and you are even tired in that sense, you are still propelled to continue to go on because it's really something that is linked to your values, your interests, your purpose, and it just aligns so well. So thank you very much, everyone. And that brings me to the next slide, which I'm going to be sharing about in terms of how to, your career development. So everything about your career development begins with you. And that's something I want us to really hold on to. There's something we say in my office, and you may probably I've heard it before. One thing we say around when people join my organization is the fact that you own your career. Like nobody's going to come and tell you, they'll come and maybe spoon feed you. Oh, this is how you need to perform. You actually own your career. So your performance, your career, your development, everything is in your hands. And even at this stage, as students right now, I'm also saying that it begins with you. It all lies in your hands. And how can you really discover what that career is, what kind of career you should have, right? And how to so when you discover the kind of career you want to have, then how should you build your career? One very first thing I would like to share is around knowing yourself. And that's why one of the comments that I think we got earlier was around that aligns to your values, your purpose, really, and that's really around, as you can see on the screen. So if you look at the bit on the screen, under the box for the know yourself is what are your values? What are your interests? What are your strengths? What are those personal traits you have? What is your ambition? All of this, comes together to really knowing, as in helping you discover who are you. It all starts first with you. No one will tell you what strengthens you. You are the only one that knows what your strengths are. No one can tell you the kind of career. They can guide you, they can point you in the direction, but really in it, only you know what their career is. And which is why I said, like I shared in my beginning, my own journey, nobody told me about HRO. In fact, I didn't hear there was anything like that existing. It was literally me getting that opportunity to intern, and I'll speak around internship later on in today's session. But me getting the opportunity to intern, and me knowing that, I just love the way that the facilitators were training people and people were being impacted, and the feedback was like, what kind of field is this? And that's what propelled me to want to. It connected to something inside around impacting people, sharing knowledge, and just people just being better. And that's what helps me to then navigate. This is what HR is about, and there's a field called this. So really, it all starts with you. So your values, your interests, your strengths, that's really important. And when you've done all of that, then explore your options. And this will be around, okay, so then, like I did, do some research. So now that you've seen that, okay, maybe my interest is about writing. And the good thing is, I feel like we're in an age where there's no career that is a shitty career. Like, and pardon my English, there's no career that is a bad career, honestly. There is absolutely no career that is a bad career. Whatever you find yourself doing, like you feel like you have an interest in, trust me, you have a career in that field. Where I currently live, I think is what has helped me to even appreciate that even more. Where I live, there's absolutely no bad career in quotes. Like the kind of career that will look down on Nigeria and say, oh, maybe I'm Yoruba, pardon me to use this word, Onishe Owoni. You don't know whether you say Onishe Owoni, and you now look at it like, she's not educated or doesn't have these skills. Like, and we just look down on them in a certain way. Or those kind of people like, oh, he's doing carpentry, he's doing plumbing, he's doing this, he's doing that. We just look at them like, because they didn't go to the 4 hours of school, then I can, they're not important people in society. But in the country where I live now, I realized that if those are the people that actually even make the most money than your typical skilled workers. They're the ones that make the most money, literally. Because their hourly rates, it will force you to go and learn to do that thing by yourself. So that's why you may have heard a lot of people say that if you live outside Nigeria, you will become a DIY expert, do it yourself expert. In fact, you almost build your house yourself to the point where just because, the guys that have those skills like plumbing, construction worker, everything, the bill they'll give you, you will think twice about doing those things yourself. And that's the beauty, which I said, there is no bad career. Like every career, just once it aligns with your values and is your interest, my brother, my sister, pursue it because there is a market for it and you will do well in that area. So explore your options. Do some research around that career that you want, that you've built, that you have an interest in. What was like the industry trend rather that pertains to that career or to that field that you're looking at, and then of course what career options are available. And then once you've done that, get focused, create a plan. And this really speaks around the fact that what will help you achieve, and help you, build this career. What steps do you need to take now to make you be proficient in this career and be a well sought after individual in this particular area you've decided to grow a career in? So that's where it means talks to get focused, have a goal. And of course, I'm sure you've heard this countless times around when you're setting your goals, make sure they are smart. So use the SMART approach. And SMART means, again, for those, I'm sure many of us know it, but for those that don't know, SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, A for achievable, R for realistic, and then T for time bound. So make sure your goals are SMART, and then create an action plan. What are the steps that you need to take to help you build this career or develop this career or have this career that you need, and create goals. So whether it is short-term goal, of course, I always, one thing I never, when I was a recruiter, one thing I never used to say was asking people those questions around, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Honestly, it's okay not to know where you see yourself in the next 5 years. It's actually okay. No pressure. But make sure you have clear like your short-term goals. So maybe 3 to 6 months or 1 to 2 years. Like, this is where I want to, these are the things I'm working towards. This is where I want to be in my career at this point. And then when you get to that point, you can revisit those goals. And that's the beauty of goals. They are not static. As things occur, as things come up, you can always revisit your goals, fine-tune them, refine them, but make sure you have goals that you're working with. And then finally, take action. Now that you know yourself, you have explored options, and you've kind of now zeroed in on where you want to be. You've gotten focused, you have your goals, you have your plan. Now take action. Like I said, you own your career. No one can come and do your career for you. You need to put in the work. And I was going through, I think I saw on Esther's status yesterday, I think from Esther's status yesterday, and I saw she spoke in that same light as well around key points, some of the key takeaways I saw on our WhatsApp status, really around the fact that it is in your hands. Nobody will come and do that for you. So take action, whether it is by connecting with people, looking for people in that field, and just gaining experience, chatting with them, learning more, gaining knowledge, whatever it is, what you've put on your goals, make sure you take action. And that brings me to the next, my next slide, or my next point on my discussion, which is around, now that you've taken action, you know yourself, you've gotten focused. I just wanted to share with us, like, okay, what are the skills that will help you in actualizing your career, developing your career? And again, these skills are irrespective of the career. Trust me, these are the skills that you need to have, or need to develop, or you need to learn to help you be successful in whatever career you find yourself. And I went online and I tried to find, okay, what are the top skills for 2025? I said the top 10 skills that came up, and this is from the source of World Economic Forum. The first one is around analytical thinking and innovation, and really being able to think analytically beyond just the surface, going deeper. If you have to use data to help you get more insight into, making that decision around that career field you found yourself. But developing that skill is very important. Active learning. I'm sure, and I know one of the things I also saw on Esther's post or status yesterday, you have to learn, like you have to adopt a lifelong learning skill. You have to be a lifelong learner. The learning doesn't stop at all. And I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times. But again, permit me to repeat it. Learning does not stop. You have to be actively learning. And right now, I believe between when I was in school and now, I feel you even have better leverage. This is one amazing way you are learning. Trust me. Like being able to just, connect on Telegram, online, in the comfort of your home, not even lifting a finger, but you are learning. Being able to participate in so many online, I feel like the resources available are actually overwhelming sometimes, but it's just you taking what worked for you, taking what speaks to you directly, and learning in that regard. And there are so many options. You can just plug a podcast, as you go. Maybe you are walking to your classroom, you are in your hostel, you are washing plates. Just plug one podcast. You are learning. YouTube, you are learning. Like, it's the resources available. It's literally overwhelming. I know it can be overwhelming, but take what you need in that moment and latch onto it and learn. Complex problem solving. Sorry. Again, that's another skill you need to have. Like, just being able to delve deeper, being able to look at things from a different perspective, and really problem solve. Like going deeper and just exploring the why. Why did this happen? Okay, if everybody's saying that. For example, let's say I'm trying to give it bring it home. Let's say, for example, everybody's saying that, the reason why people are leaving Nigeria or Japan is because of the economy or anything. And how about you look at it from a different way and say that actually I disagree with that. I think people are actually to that country because they want to, let's say, for example, maybe expand, let's say, have a business and be able to maybe have multiple businesses across the globe. It's because they want to have better opportunities. Just being able to go deeper into problem and not look at it from just one perspective alone, but going around. And all of this comes from how you also apply yourself to knowledge. So from your reading, from watching documentaries, from, listening to podcasts, you're able to just expand your mind. And that way you're able to then, when you see a problem, when people are looking at it from this lens, you are going from the back and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't look at it that way. That's true. That's a good point, that kind of thing. Critical thinking and analysis, again, linked to what I discussed in the first part, analytical thinking. Creativity, originality, and initiative. This is something that employers really, really would, in fact, not just employers now, but even as an entrepreneur, you want to be able to bring that creative mindset to anything that you're doing, while also maintaining originality. I'm sure you may have heard people talk about remaining your authentic self, being true to yourself while you're being creative. You don't want to be one that is just known to maybe copying idea or copying other people's ideas. But even if you're looking at that same idea, right, or that something somebody has done, but you in a different way, you're looking at it from a different lens, and you bring in your own originality into it, it becomes your own. And people are like, oh, wow, that's so creative. I didn't think about that at all. That's really the beauty in, being, that is around creative skills, originality, and initiative. It brings me to, I don't know how many of us maybe followed, Daystar Church just had this, their leadership conference some weeks back. And I watched ID Kabasa's session. And, it's so, I'm just linked to what I'm talking about now. It was so enlightening, I would say, to realize that some of the lyrics, some of the tune, or the tune to the songs, like, the Gongwaso, the some of nice songs and all that he produced, were actually picked from one of Craig David's old timing, and I'm like, oh, wow. But all of us would probably have listened to that song and never have linked it that it was a Craig David song, including me. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was just talking about how the fact that, being an innovative leader is really, it's not anything big. It's just being able to look at something and just bring in your own originality into it. And then that's what makes you innovative, And that's, just in that same night, I just wanted to share that as well, that, in that same night, just looking at it like, oh, that creative mindset. And, and just bring your originality into it. And that's, you take initiative for it. And people just look at it, oh, wow, that's so creative. Another point is leadership and social influence. And obviously, like you already know, everything rises and falls on leadership. And even as at this level that you're at right now, you're all leaders. You can't lead any other person unless you lead yourself. So leadership starts with first you leading yourself. How do you lead yourself? Are you someone that wake up in the morning and just, lay away on the, like, just maybe lays around? Maybe people are burning the night candle, reading, your colleagues are reading, are putting in the work. They wake up in the morning, they tidy their bed and everything. But you just take your sweet time, and just maybe strolling to, I'm not saying anybody like that on this call, but just give me an example. Because leadership really starts with you. And I learned a while back from one of my mentors that as little as laying your bed when you wake up is already showing how good a leader. You're already leading yourself in that sense. As simple as it may sound, that's already part of developing leadership skills. So leadership and social influence. I cannot overemphasize the role of technology use, monitoring, and control. You have to be familiar with technology, and I'm going to speak a little bit more as we go on. But you have to be very familiar with your technology tools, and be kept abreast. Like, for example, trust me, this is the very first time I'm using Telegram in this sense, and that's Esther, and thank you so much, Esther, for putting that short tutorial for me, because I was like, how on earth do you present on Telegram? And I was like, oh my God, because I look like you're not being kept abreast of the happenings going on. So thank you, Esther, for again letting me know that there's like something like this exists, and I'm able to I can now tell people that yes, I can use Telegram to present, thanks to Esther. So again, be up to date with your technology. Thanks. And then technology design and programming, resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. I can't overemphasize this as well. I think even as students, I know it can be a stressful life. Trust me, I know. Not even in this day and age where, and which is great, many of us actually have jobs we're already doing even while in school. So being able to balance your schoolwork, and then balance, your maybe your demands, work and all of that, and then home front and every other thing. Same thing happens even as, even those of us that finished school already working and trying to balance life, balance home. it's all, but being able to just go that, like just being resilient, going that, not taking no for an answer, just pushing through, being uncomfortable, even when it's in a stressful position, because you know that you're still going to find that comfort, but it's just a temporary uncomfortable situation. But pushing through those moments, you need to be able to build that, because that's very, very key. And then reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. All of that I've already mentioned as well. Okay. I'm going to move on to my next slide, which is around. So just in case, just to give you an idea of what jobs are even in demand. Like what, again, I went on the web yesterday and you can see from the spaces, from sources across the web, because really it was just AI helped me to pull certain things, that jobs in demand, by 2025 or in 2025. Just to give you an idea, for some of them are probably still wondering, what career do I really want to build? I'm still not sure yet. I'm not clear yet. Or some of us that actually already have some of these in mind that in our interest, but you feel like I can't build a career in this sense. Trust me, like I said, there's no bad career because there's a market for you. There's a word for you out there. Just, put in the work and you'll be successful at it. So here are some of the jobs in demand that, came that, was that Google brought for me yesterday. And, there's a whole lot here. One thing for sure that you can see across board is healthcare and technology, any technology inclined job are always going to be in demand. So whether 2025, beyond 2025, always going to be in demand. So if you're not sure, you're unclear, I can say, okay, maybe you want to explore that a bit and see if you have an interest in that area, and you'll just be amazed how you do well. And as I speak about these jobs, bear in mind that I'm not limiting it only to Nigeria. I am actually looking at it because we are now in a global world, we're in a global economy. And as you think of your career, also think globally. Don't think Nigeria alone. Don't think Africa alone. Think globally, like expand your mind in that sense. And also as you develop your career, don't think that you're looking at it from only a Nigeria lens. Look at it from a global lens, because as you already know, there's no barrier right now to, you can be in Nigeria and working for a company in the UK, in the US, in wherever. So I'm sure by now you already know that. Some of us are even probably virtual assistants to people that are already based in maybe in the US or in the UK. So that, which is why I said, don't think local, think global. And which is why, so when you look at these jobs, don't look at it that, with this job, maybe, for example, teacher in Nigeria, teachers, do they even make money? Do they? Like I said, don't think local, think global. So here are a few jobs that I'll say are in demand, and I can just, look at it, research more, or I just want to give you a basis for you to know what, so like things that you can just, read up more, research up more on. And by the way, I would, maybe I can share the slides with you afterwards. You won't just go through it and be able to learn more around what I've shared so far. Okay. Moving on. One second, let me go to the next slide. So very briefly, I want to talk about the role of internships and volunteering. So now that I've talked about, I've spoken a lot around, the skills you need, knowing yourself, having a plan, skills to help you develop your career, what jobs are in demand, what jobs can you have a career in, and then now, how does internship and volunteering come into play? Like I mentioned when I shared my own story earlier, I've literally, my career literally started off from having an opportunity to intern at that consulting firm I talked about. And my story will never be complete without talking about Profiliant. So again, and in this day and age, I feel like it's even like there are even more opportunities from a place of not just you having to do it, just maybe like maybe you have to be there in person, but there are remote opportunities as well. It's just for you to really expand and just know, like just build your network, connect people on LinkedIn, see what's going on, see what's happening outside, and just, and so from there you can know which internships you can do. They're not even, maybe they're even remote based, because there are a whole lot of that available as well. For example, I know, I don't know if McKinsey still does that, but McKinsey has a program called, oh my days, I can't remember now. Is it McKinsey Future Leader Program or McKinsey? I can't remember now, but I can Google, I can look for the actual name and maybe share with Esther. She can share with the group. But I know someone who was, did that. And by the way, it was online and it was all free, like literally a free program. But the skills this lady got from doing that program, oh my God, it was just mind blowing. Like just mind blowing. And I just feel like, oh, that if many people can, and that's what even made me open my eyes more to relooking internship, not just from a place of, oh, I have to, maybe I'm looking for one place to go and do like 3 months, 6 months, but relook internship and think of, you can even do internship globally with any global organization, not just, having to go in person. And don't only look at it from a place of, oh, I want to get paid. Look at it more from hands-on learning. Because trust me, you would be amazed the things that you would, you'll be opportunity to do from just gaining that experience, hands-on experience. You cannot even buy that. So don't look at it only from a paid. If they're not going to pay me, I'm not going to do it. No, please, no. Look at it first of all. For you're going to gain hands-on learning, developing your skills. Very key. That being able to work with people in a workplace, being able to collaborate with people online, being able to develop your remote skills. Because trust me, there are also skills maybe for you to be a remote worker. Because with being a remote worker, knowing that nobody is watching over you in court, you have to be a self-starter. You have to be disciplined. You have to, be able to regulate yourself. I know that these are my tasks for today. I must accomplish it, even though I'm sitting in the comfort of my home. So those things are going to, to be able to learn from just having that opportunity to intern and even also volunteer. So sometimes you may not even get that internship role, but when I ask people, can I just volunteer? Just don't pay me. I just want to work with you in this capacity. I just want to learn. And I don't think anybody, honestly, will say no to that. Like, I know fine, it may be a tall order for maybe bigger organizations because they have a structure. But why not try smaller organizations, smaller firms that, don't even have a name? Trust me, you are looking for that opportunity to be able to learn hands-on skill. So go to them, walk up to them, online, write to them, look for them on LinkedIn, see who can connect you with them, and just get the opportunity to be able to volunteer to intern. Because you will grow your network, you have networking opportunities from there. Your own personal growth is also guaranteed. You also gain industry experience. And above all, you are building a strong resume for after school. You are building a strong resume for after school, which is also very, very key. Okay. And then as I move on, I just want to touch a bit on how, just still maintaining that work-life balance, while you're pursuing your career, developing your career, wanting to grow your career and just find out the next step, but just, still able to making sure that the whole of your well-being is still intact while you're, doing all of this. And I have, which is why I'll share this link and I'll share this slide with you afterwards so you can maybe if you want to take the exercise. But there's something here I would like us to, at our own spare time, after this session, during this conference, I would like you to do that, like this assessment on the which is on the right hand side of the screen. It's called the Wheel of Life. So that wheel there is called the Wheel of Life. And when you have your well-being at various aspects of your life that make up you, trust me, if one is falling short, you will not do well in the other because it's a wheel. Think of it as a bicycle. Let's say a bicycle. In a bicycle, there are various strings that hold the tire together. Now let's assume that one string comes off or is bent or something. Trust me, it's just a limit to a time that your bicycle, you won't be able to go so far because something is wrong somewhere. So your wheel must be at least near complete. I know having a perfect wheel, may be a tall order, but at least near complete. And that's where this assessment comes to play. So as I said, at your free time, I want you to take a look at this assessment and rate yourself. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Rate yourself. Again, it is your own assessment. You're not submitting to anybody. I just want you to assess your life right now and assess when you plot the graph. Okay, let's say physical environment, and again using the other guide on the left hand to say, okay, occupying, pleasant, stimulating. What's my environment right now? Does it support my well-being, my overall? Does it give me that well-balanced life? Assess yourself across all of these metrics. Now, when you've given yourself the rating again based on honesty, now connect the dots. Ideally, we all want to have a perfect circle. But like I said, we will not always have a perfect circle because sometimes it falls short, sometimes it goes high, whatever it is. But now when you rated yourself, then connect the dots, like you're drawing a graph, connect all the dots. When you connect the dots, that will now give you a picture of where you actually are falling low and where it seems to be okay. And what I want you to do is that those areas that you feel are falling low, please, please, please look at how you can improve in those areas. And that is where, when you're setting your goals, also include those areas as well. Because like I said, you can't just look only at your career. Everything still comes from you. For you to have a successful career, you have to have at least a well-balanced life, and your well-being must be intact. So connect those dots, see where you're falling short, and then afterwards make intentional steps and take intentional actions to improve in those areas. And finally, I'm just going to share with us what I call your career toolbox. So these are things that you should just have at the back of your mind. Like as you want to grow your career, develop your career, just have this thing at the back of your mind. So self-discovery tools. For some of us that don't know what our strengths are, there's a strength assessment by Gallup's Finder. It's by Gallup's Finder. You can go online and look for that, and you can just take a free assessment, and that will help you know what your strengths are, and that can give you an idea of the things that interest you and help you further tailor, the career you want to build. You can also have a passion, like a journal for documenting your passion. Sometimes we don't know all of your passion now, but maybe you just did something that wow, I really enjoy doing this. Journal it, just write it down somewhere, and you can come back to it later as you begin to connect the dots around your career. Also, career exploration resources. So like I said, internship, having informational interviews. Informational interviews are where you meet somebody or you connect somebody that is linked or that is doing something in your career, and just want to have a chat with them and just interview them to see what's a day like for them in the life of maybe a data analyst. What's a day like? What's a day like? A day in your life looks like. So that's like having, and that helps you get more knowledge around, exploring that career path and all of that. Skills development, again, I'm sure you already know this, like I said before, but there's so many ways you can develop your skills. There's so many free courses on Coursera, Udemy, on YouTube as well. Also, being digitally proficient. I cannot, again, at least in this world that I know, at least for now, most organizations still make use of MS Office tools. So your PowerPoint, your Excel, your Microsoft Word, your Visio, being able to use Microsoft Teams, all of those things. And even, other offices to use things like Slack, Trello, but being digitally proficient is very, very key. Networking essentials. LinkedIn, thank God for LinkedIn and the joy that it has brought. But never underestimate the power of LinkedIn. Connect with people, and beyond connecting, if you find people whose profile you feel like, oh, I'm a bit intrigued by this profile, write them a chat, like write them something that DM, and try to connect with them. Set up that connection, maybe a 30 minutes chat. Just connect with them, learn more about them, and that way are growing your network. Personal branding, again, very, very key. One of the things that we typically advise people to do, or our advice that I should just have like an elevator pitch ready in your head. You never know where you're going to meet that one person that you've been waiting to meet all your life. Literally. Have that 1 minute elevator pitch that just stands you out immediately. And then, and that way you're able to capture their interest and that they want to have more conversations with you. Have it just somewhere at the back of your mind. You never know when it's going to come in handy. And then also, depends on where the kind of field that you're a graphic designer, you're a content creator rather, or whatever it is. Also, having a portfolio handy can be helpful, especially for those kind of things where people need to see your work. They need to see what you have done. Having a portfolio handy, maybe it's a PDF format, it's on your Google Drive. You just send them a link. Oh, here's my work, the works I've done so far. You can take a look. That's also very, very key. Other tools, I'll say that should be in your toolbox. I also say it's time management and project management skills. Being able to take things on your notes, have an organizer, Google Calendar. Just having things be so you don't lose track of time. Of course, for job search and application, obviously having a resume and cover letter. And I would say at this point, usually recruiters typically don't for undergrads. They typically look for a one to 2 pager kind of CV. Anything beyond 2 pages can be a tall order. In fact, in my organization for undergrads, we typically tell them that not more than 1 page, and then have a cover letter. Like you must have a 1-page CV kind of thing. So try to aim for that as well. Nothing too gigantic, but make sure that the key things that should be on that CV are there. Volunteering experience, internships, skills you've garnered, your current like your field of study. If you know your what's it called now, class of degree as well, you can put it there. Maybe even your CGPAs or things like that. That just shows and makes you stand out. Leadership activities you've taken, things like that just speak to who you are as a person. Again, financial literacy, I will also still emphasize the importance of that. Make sure that don't just have a budget for a monthly budget that you're working with. Also, make sure you're saving, you're investing. I used to, even after school and all that, I had all kinds of ways I used to try to save. And there's now so many online saving tools. There's Harvest, there's Piggy Bank, which I love so much. I'm not advertising anyone, please, by the way. I'm just saying that those are things that ones I've worked with. I used to work with when I was in Nigeria, and I really, really enjoyed. But make sure that you're saving and you're having a budget for the things that your monthly budget. Mentorship, oh my God, this I cannot overemphasize. Having a mentor, honestly, will do you so much good. And again, you don't have to have a mentor for across maybe all, but you can have a mentor for different aspects of your life. But having a mentor will do you a whole lot of good. And then, of course, I'm not going to downplay the role of your mental health and well-being. Like I said before, taking that well-being assessment will also help you to gauge where you are at the moment and where you need to improve. And there's so many well-being or mental health resources are available online. And I also know of Money. I think they're called Mentally Aware Nigeria Initiative, I think, but Money. I know they offer free services as well. So if you really feel like you need someone to talk to, I know therapy services can be quite expensive, but I think Money offers something that is free, and you can actually take advantage of that as well. Please do not downplay the role of your mental health. That's very, very key. And I'm going to close now with this quote. 1 second, please. Okay. Yes, I'm going to close now with this quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which says that the future depends on today. And from author Ashe, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Thank you very much, everyone. And I'm going to now open up the floor for questions, comments. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Wow, that was awesome. Please, everyone, if you learned something or if you got value, just drop a comment in the chat right now. I feel like you shared so much in I feel like we gave you a little time. The time was too small, and there was so much that you had prepared for us already. And I really want to say thank you so much. That was a lot, and we appreciate that a lot. So, would like to take questions quickly. For those that have questions, maybe if there is a part that you feel that you need some clarity on and you'd like to ask questions, so please drop them in the chat. While I'm waiting for their questions, for me personally, I have like 1,001, but I'll try to limit them because of time. So, one of the things that I think I'd like to ask, depending when others drop their questions, of course, is how important is it for someone that's going to career to have a LinkedIn profile? Because recently, a friend of mine who is also a graduate, she was trying to apply for a job, and I think because the recruiter told her later on that she didn't get a job because they went to her LinkedIn profile and saw that what she posted that she was doing on LinkedIn is different from what the job she's applying for, and because of that, she wasn't. I think she has that she is a digital marketer on LinkedIn, but I think she was applying for a customer service role or something, and because of that, just because of LinkedIn, they've seen her CV and portfolio, but just for her LinkedIn profile, that was what cut her off. So how important is it for students now, undergraduates, how important is it to have the LinkedIn profile and being able to position themselves there career wise?
Thank you so much, Esther, for that question. So, the truth is that some recruiters, and I think in this day and age where we're actually in the digital age and people can just go online and see what you're at. I know even back when I was in Nigeria, we did used to do some background check like that to just see, okay, this person, what they said, what they did, does it tally? So I'm not surprised that could have happened. But yes, it's important to have, even as an undergraduate, yes, it's important to have a LinkedIn profile, because that way you're not only building your network, from that space, but you're also learning. You're seeing other people, probably in the field, or the areas of the field that, number one, that you're maybe trying to go into, or the career you want to build. You're seeing what they are doing, what is trending, probably, and that helps you, positions you better, and gives you a better advantage. You're so able to connect with those people in that industry as well, and be able to just developing that network from this, because obviously you don't want to get out of school and then start preparing, like, that at that point I will start having a career. So by all means, having that LinkedIn profile now, and don't just have it for having sake. Have a nice picture. I don't mean you have to go and do a proper studio shoots and have a nice headshot. Get one of your friends to just take a picture of you in a nice background and put it up there. As long as you look professional enough, nice headshot, put it there. Create the profile properly. Like, create profile properly. You can put maybe some, for example, I remember when I had by the way, I created my LinkedIn profile while I was still in school. I think I should have mentioned that. I think when I had my final year, close to my final year, I created my LinkedIn profile. And at that time, I used to write HR enthusiasts, pardon my English. But just again, to get people knowing that. So even then, I didn't even know, there wasn't so much crazy around the career, your headline on LinkedIn. But I used to put it there, HR enthusiasts. And just so that I just want people to just know, when they see my profile, it will scream, this person wants to do something in HR. Again, that's what LinkedIn helps you do. Just put you there and put what you're about. Even now, I've started doing anything professionally in that light, but it puts you out there in that light and gives you that, it just builds you up for success when you eventually need to now, like, you want to get working, look for a job and things like that. So it's very important. And again, to Esther's question, and like what Esther said that happened to her friend, when you put out your profile, please make sure that it tallies with what you have written on your CV or your experience. You don't want to have that kind of issue, because that already puts a red flag. So make sure what you put on your LinkedIn tallies with what you are submitting as your resume or your CV. That's very important. I hope that answers your question, Esther.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. So that actually emphasizes the need to have a LinkedIn profile and also to ensure it is optimized. So we have a question here. Ayomide is asking, what is expected, or what are the things expected to in developing a CV? What are the things that are expected in developing a CV? And I think this is a question that a lot of other students should, because I think someone also reached out to me before the conference started that she was trying to apply, or she wanted to start looking out for internship roles. And I asked her if she had a CV, and she doesn't. And she doesn't even know what it should look like. Do you understand? So I don't know if you could help us highlight the things that should be in a CV for undergraduates to have, for people that may want to start applying for internship roles or maybe volunteering opportunities.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think what I'll try to do afterwards, beyond just, I should have probably maybe done that. But I would look for a template after this. One of these I'll share with you, Esther, and you can share with everyone. So you can just look through. Now, the template I may share again is not, as long as those things are important. I'm not really. I know some I think Nigeria. I think in Nigeria, but not very. I don't think we have like a standardized format for CVs. I know in where I'm currently located, there's a standardized format. But my point is that, but as long as it has those key things, I think you'll be fine. But key things that should be on your CV: your name, of course. You don't need your date of birth. You don't need your gender. You don't need your address. So your name, email address, phone number, and then your LinkedIn profile, if you have one. That would be nice too. So just put the link to your LinkedIn profile. That also will be a good thing to have. And then you can put Lagos, Nigeria. You don't need to put maybe number 2, Kosofe Street kind of thing. No, just put your city and your country is fine. So that's, first of all, that's very important. And then just very brief profile summary about yourself. I am an undergraduate student with, studying this course. My interests lie in this. I've been exposed to ABC and D. Just very brief profile summary about yourself. And then, of course, you have you now have your education part where you talk about, what your education, like what if you're still in school, you put it there. You can put either put to date as the period, or you can say maybe expected, maybe June 2025 or something, like when you're going to graduate. You can also put your class of degree, so maybe like CGPA or so and so number, maybe 4 out of 5, second class, upper kind of thing. You can put there as well. And then you can just put projects you've been part of. So even in school, even projects you've been part of in school, you've been part of any projects, like maybe something around maybe your students union or your faculty rep or something, or even, things that you've been like you've taken on leadership projects or something, or you've been a member of a committee, put it there in your CV as well. It just shows like, things that you've been a part of or whatever, or things like that. Volunteering experience, you can put it there. And guess what? Your volunteering experience can even come from maybe in church, you are actually, maybe in church, you are part of the technical team, or in church, you are an usher. Trust me, it's volunteering experience or volunteering activity, and you can put on your CV. It's just the way you word it that matters. But it just still shows that you actually are gaining some kind of other skills, but in the volunteering capacity, And then if you've had any certifications you've taken, maybe any courses you've taken on Udemy, put them there as well. So all of those things, I think that would make sense to put on your CV. Like I said, I will share a format, an actual format with you that you can leverage, and that will help you just see how to structure it in a nice way, and that captures all of your achievements and experience in one or 2 pages.
All right.
Does that help?
Thank you very much, Ma. That really answers the question. I've dropped the list of things that you mentioned here, and then the one you share with me, I'd also send it across to them. So just to round up, we have lots of other questions here, but I'm just going to pick out on a few other things. So someone's asking here that, is it important for a banker to have a LinkedIn profile?
A banker?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please. Everyone, even a plumber, even a construction, even if somebody in who is an agricultural, everybody, even if you're a fashion designer, everyone, is just how well you project what you are doing and how you are doing it. But everyone, there's no career that cannot go on, that should not be on LinkedIn. Because like I said, there's somebody out there looking for you there. So please, by all means, you can be a banker, and you should have a LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
And like I said, don't just make your LinkedIn profile tacky. You see somebody like, this just looks tacky. Everything is a small letter. Some of the profiles already just look at you just don't even want to look at them anymore. But have a nice headshot. Put it, fill out all those profiles, those sections on LinkedIn. Fill them out, as in fill it out properly. And guess what? AI is your friend, and LinkedIn even has an AI assistant that will help you put certain words there. But if you can't use the LinkedIn AI assistant, go on, just use your ChatGPT and put those, and it will help you create a very nice thing you can put on your LinkedIn. Again, AI is your friend. So yeah, please have a.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. One other question from Paul says, how do I balance a major career line in civil engineering and my LinkedIn account is focused on this? I think his LinkedIn account is focused on graphics design. Should he create another account for civil engineering or merge both of them together?
Merge both of them together. It's still all you, and it still speaks to the same you, but please merge both of them together. It doesn't matter what whether it's you see some people that have some LinkedIn profiles, or you can see right there, they can say maybe founder, maybe beauty by Blade. I'm just giving an example. But you can see that they have their regular 9 to 5 job, but they also have the parts where maybe they own a fashion house, or they have a makeup studio. All that is all right there. So please merge it. You don't need to create two accounts.
All right, Ma. The final question from Trevor, he asked about 4, but I'm just going to read maybe 1 or 2. So you just use that to round up, Ma. First, he said that, can you... Okay, because of time. I'll read this. He said, what skills or quality do you think personally are most essential for someone looking to build a sustainable entrepreneurial career?
Entrepreneurial career. Okay. From top of mind, I would say definitely creative skills. Definitely create that. So that's Peter. What I mentioned around those top 10 skills for 2025. Creativity, originality, and being innovative. Definitely, you need that to run any entrepreneurial, business. By the way, did I mention that I do have my own small business that I run? So even though I'm a 9 to 5er, or I don't have that on my LinkedIn, and now that I've said that, I should probably put it on my LinkedIn. But just jokes aside, I do bake. I actually bake. My business is called Baked with Love by B. And I have that. And one of the things that, even though everybody bakes meat pie, bakes whatever, but the twist I bring into my own pastries is what makes the difference. So creative skills definitely important. Also that's that skill of, just, what's the word now? Being aware, that competitive, like being aware of what is going on in that, like in your space, is very, very. I'm trying to look for the word that was on the, but just, understand the industry. You need to understand that industry experience to come into play as well. What in that industry, like what's going on in that industry? How do people do their stuff? What can you do differently? What's the new, like, what's the wave going on here? What products are now the in thing in this particular field? So you need to be industry aware, knowing what's happening in that industry that is your entrepreneurial line. Of course, finances, you need to understand at least basic financial skills. I do my own accounting. So even though, yes, it's a very small business, I'm a sole proprietor, whatever it is, but I still keep record of I do my own basic accounting. So expenses, sales, what is my, and then what, and I'm able to now ascertain. And of course, in basic accounting, you're able to now tell how well your business is doing. Are you even making profit, or you're just doing for doing sake, out of passion? Because one of the things, and in doing that proper accounting, you need to be also make sure that you're putting, for example, your time that is involved in bringing that product to life. You need to put all of that into context. Is that business able to pay your time at least? Because that way you now know, oh, maybe I need to adjust my pricing, or I need to increase the number of products, like in sales volume, so I can get more and be able to break even. So those little things are things that you need to, as an entrepreneur, you need to learn, to know. Marketing skills as well, because I'm not sure as an entrepreneur. For example, I do my own marketing by myself. I post on Instagram by myself. I try to create content, even though I'm not if I don't call myself a content creator. But for now, I cannot afford to employ somebody, so I'm trying to do all this by myself. So you need to learn basic digital marketing skills so that you can put your face out there and people can know what you are doing. So top of mind, and from my own experience, that's what I would say the skills you need to have.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. That was massive, and I feel many of us should still come to listen to this recording again. And we really do appreciate you, Ma. This was an amazing session. Can we say thank you in the chat? Can we say thank you, everyone? Just say thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yes, I saw your baking brand on IG. Thank you. You're doing an amazing work, by the way. Maybe one day we'll take from it. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
You so much.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to be bringing up our next speaker now. You can see that we just had a wonderful taste of the first session, and now we'll be having the second session for tonight. And trust me, it's also going to be amazing. It's going to be loaded, and our speaker is here, is ready to serve us, everything he has prepared. And so our speaker for tonight is Oluwabusayo Charles, known as Charles Visuals. And tonight he's going to be speaking on skill acquisition and leveraging social media to earn from your skill as an undergraduate. I know this is something a lot of people are eager to hear, and we'll go right into it.
Oluwabusayo Charles is the chairman of the Remnant of Zion's Christian Fellowship, Roosevelt, a non-denominational youth intergathering ministry with the mandate to disciple men and women who would invade the cosmos with the fire of God. He is a brand designer, an outstanding brand identity expert, and a graphic designer. He is known for his outstanding passion for the media space. By privilege, he is a media personnel at the Remnant Christian Network, RCN, Apostle Arome Osai's ministry. He also serves as a designer at his Worship Christian Network, HWCN, Apostle Toluwalogo Agbola's ministry. He is the founder of Thrive Africa and the instructor at the Next Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Oluwabusayo Charles.
All right, you have the floor, sir. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I think you're muted already, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. All right, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Esther. Good evening, everyone. A disclaimer: you may hear maybe some other sounds from my background. Just bear with me. I have a baby here, and you can't stop them from talking, right? So please just bear with me. And I just have some few slides to share. Then after that time, I'll step outside, and I believe it should be a lot more quiet. And thank you so much, Mr. Esther, for having me. I've been here for a while, and I also want to take out this moment to celebrate the last speaker. I think I joined the conference when she was speaking on, you putting up your LinkedIn profile and etc. Profound and very amazing. Please just bear with me, all right? I'll be out in like, let's say 30 minutes. I'll just share the slide and I'll be out of here. All right, so good evening, everyone. I want to believe you had a productive day. It was very effective. And in the midst of the many things going on in the nation, you're scaling through and you're living through each day. I want to believe that. I also want to believe that you're thriving at whatever it is you are into and you're finding the balance. All right, please too. And I also want to believe you're finding the balance. Please now. I also want to believe you're finding the balance as a student, and just in case you have a skill or you're running a business, I want to believe it has been, it hasn't been so tough. And in the midst of these things, you've been finding your feet. All right, so I'll just get started, and I'll start by introducing myself. I am Charles Oluwabusayo the baby, right? So I am Oluwabusayo Abiodun Charles, and just as she said, and as the video said, I am a brand designer. And recently I transitioned into brand designing. I have about half a decade experience in the creative space, and tonight I'll be speaking. Oh God! And tonight, please hold on. I'll step outside. Just give me a moment. All right, thank you. So tonight I'll be speaking on skill acquisition and how you can leverage on, put yourself out on social media and leverage on the internet. Sorry, I'm quite distracted. I want to move to somewhere new so that I will not be so distracted. All right, so I am all set, and I'll share my screen with you. I have about 2 slides to hit my so a few points I have to share with you tonight. So please give me a moment. All right, please, if you can see my screen, please let me know you can. Can I get feedback that you can?
Yes, you can see your screen.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. All right, I'll try to make this as snappy as possible so that I can get somewhere. So I was at a conference. I think that should be Ellen Paul conference some couple of weeks back, and I was sharing on